I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Vita and Chip and Kopi.
Something that we don't normally do. 2 Pantera songs back to back, or 2 main stage songs back to back in the same week. But this is part of not a trilogy, but it's a 2-parter.
Yeah, they kind of go together. So.
And it's important topic. So we're doing it. Suicide Note Part 2. Pantera. We're in the world's village.
On a lighter note, here's Sonia. Look how cute this picture is.
This is really huge because this is Zonia with X from Gersak. Zonia's rocking a Sori secret shirt.
Yep.
It's cool because she's not doing the little thingy.
Yep.
The be quiet that everybody else does.
I love that skirt. I like that skirt and the boots. This is the look that we used to have so much in college. The skirts because they had to be below the knee, and the boots because it was so cold. So this look brings back memories. And then we would always rock some a shirt like that if we could, you know what I mean? So it would look a little different each time.
Okay.
So anyway, it reminded me of college.
Alright. There's Sori's life. You know what we should do? We should take a road trip down to your old school.
Speaking of, oh my gosh, that makes me so nervous that you even just said that. Yeah, I would totally want to do that with you and point stuff out to you.
I bet.
I bet we could go in and tour around.
Alright, well.
I would tell them. I have a fucking awesome... Just kidding. It was a Bible college in case anybody's like, wait, what is she talking about?
Alright, so there's Gersak.
Shame.
This is Gersak and Zonia. We're going to be...
seeing them at NAM.
Seeing Gersak at NAM, and we might be seeing Z at NAM, so...
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't think she's going to go. She's like, ah. That's alright. We don't care. Alright, let's go.
Go. heavy. I wonder, I've seen where they have part 1 and part 2 back to back. I wonder how they transitioned from part 1 to part 2.
I don't know.
Because part 2 sounded like it was, right off the bat, it was like just heavy. It was screaming in your ears.
Yeah. I love stuff like Dime, man. I love him so much.
I know, man.
His attitude is like.
I know.
He died. Okay, so there's a person on a show that we're watching that like has dimes. You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about? Yeah. You know, that's how it would be if he was in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he had a brother.
I used to have I used to have a cousin. He's still my cousin, but when he was little, he was so naughty all the time. He was like so bad. Like nobody wanted to be around him. He was just so bad. And then like he grew up and he like mellowed out, you know what I mean? But like he looked like he would have had that type of personality when he grew up. But as a kid, he called one of my cousins over. He was like, "Hey, come here, let me tell you something." And the person bent over because he was small, and he just slapped him right across the face at a family gathering. You gotta understand, my family's all, everybody, you know, there's no big events like that, so everybody's like, what is this? He was always doing stuff like that. But yeah, he had that kind of about him, you know. I always liked that. He was always my favorite. As naughty as he was my favorite.
Naughty.
Well, he was little. He was just a little kid, you know. I was a teenager and he was like 5, 6.
This is an interesting song. Because it seems that he felt like he had to write about what he was feeling, but at the same time, he didn't want to be accused of encouraging it. So he says, "Don't you try to die like me."
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's livid in its lies, and it makes graves descending down.
Where was it? Where did he just do it?
Watch me. For weakness is a magnet. Watch me do it, and then he kept repeating.
Oh, he's talking about himself.
Yeah. He's not telling everybody to go kill himself, but
that's why I was like making so concerned.
It happens all the time in metal, though, because somebody will talk about what they're going through, and they'll be like, "Oh, like I guess not Teen Spirit." Well, we were watching that thing with that documentary with Cobain, and all those kids were killing themselves and quoting Kurt Cobain because whatever. Yeah. So I think this is him like struggling with, as an artist, okay, I have to express myself, this is how I feel, while at the same time realizing, and he says it right there, fret not family nor prejudged army, like the masses of people that would be judging him or whatever, and trying to connect it to other people. This is
for me and me only.
Cowards only try it, which is what I was talking about the other day at the hospital, where that was our mindset. Like, if you didn't have any real whatever, then you were just doing it for attention. You weren't serious,
Yep.
There's another thing that I was like, yo, this is exactly what we said about the hospital in the previous thing, but whew, this is heavy, man. This is a heavy song.
Yeah.
I
love the sound of it, though.
Why? It's not worth the time to try to replenish a rotting life. I'll end the problem facing nothing. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Tortured history, addictive misery. This exposes me. For weakness is a magnet. Watch me do it. So in this one, it seems like he's looking at suicide as a weakness, as the easy way out. But then he says it's a magnet. So watch me do it, basically.
Yikes.
Because he's taking. It was just very, very interesting because I was talking about all the different ways that people looked at suicide, whether it's strong or it's weak.
Yeah.
And we had that conversation, and sure enough, boom, into the second song, you've got pretty much the ideas. All the ideas are there. Tortured history, addictive misery. This exposes me. Like the fact that he would kill himself means that he was too weak to go through it, to deal with it. To deal with his history and deal with his addiction. So this suicide exposes me. And then weakness is a magnet. Okay, watch me do it. Which is interesting because you see these things in our current culture now where you have YouTube and these people will say they'll put on the live stream, I'm gonna kill myself. And then people will go do it. And it's like,
no.
Of course, when he wrote this, he didn't have YouTube and all this. So you know, it was just a poetic thing to say.
Never ever say that.
It's a poetic thing to say. Now people are actually doing that shit. And then they'll watch and the person will be hanging there and all that. And, you know, we'll have 2,000 people in the stream and then 5 of them call the police.
Stop, that makes me so angry.
Yeah, this is the world we're living, man. I was having a conversation with somebody. They were like, how do you feel about assisted suicide? And I said, it's terrible. And it is. Why would you help someone who doesn't want it, doesn't need it, doesn't want your shit advice? When a mind's made up to go ahead and die, what's done is done and gone, so why cry? And
I don't believe that. So.
What? That they don't want your advice or whatever?
No, I believe that. But that, like, I think that there's a lot of times where people's minds are not completely made up, but that the majority of their mind is made up, and so then they go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? But I feel like that there's probably a big percentage of people that if somebody walked in right then, or if they, you know what I mean, I feel like things would be different.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, I don't have
Well, a lot of that's colored by the fact that, you know, lost 2 very close family members in pretty drastic, dramatic ways to suicide. And
right.
I had a friend who, I think we all kind of knew he was, you know, when I heard about it, I was like, yeah. He could never, we were playing baseball all the time, and when we'd lose, he could never keep himself together. Any little thing would push him off, he'd go crazy. And there was just crazy. We used to play baseball with these aluminum bats, you know. Somebody hit me with a pitch, which happens, you know. And so I took my base or whatever, and he was up, and he told the guy, he said, motherfucker, and we were 12, 11. He said, motherfucker, and he basically said, you did that to my friend, so I'm gonna get you before this whole thing is over.
Did he?
Yeah, he charged a man like this with his freaking aluminum bat, dude. Yeah. And he was like, you know, and I'm like screaming at him. Because it was me, him, and his brother. We were like these 3, you know, we were like the 3 amigos. And I was on base, and then his brother was on third, but he couldn't get out of it. He just couldn't get out of it. The kid hit me, and it's like it wasn't a big deal, you know. It happens all the time in baseball. But we had there's so much bad blood with that team, and he couldn't stop talking to the guy. I don't even know why the umpires or whatever let him, because he legit threatened the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in front of everybody. And, you know, it was just...
He probably didn't know what to do.
It just froze him up because nobody had really... And the kid didn't know him. And we were like rival teams or whatever. And like he, you know...
Was the kid okay?
He went after him with the bat. And
yeah.
the ump stood there and I'm like... Me and Tristan are running to the middle of the thing because we knew you would have took that kid's head off. Guaranteed.
Oh
Guaranteed.
My gosh.
So when and then sure enough, you know, he lost the baseball game, got in a fight with his friend, and then he went home and killed himself.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that he was completely convinced because it's not like something that...
He didn't have a plan or anything.
That's
like
what I'm
that.
saying.
It was
yeah.
It was impossible to work with him because he was so volatile, and you just knew he wasn't gonna. I didn't know what the feeling was until much later. To where I just know this guy's he's not gonna make. I just knew it. But then the guy got older, I recognized what that feeling was, whether it was, you know, being in the Bronx or being in other situations. It's like, this guy's not gonna make it. Whether, even, not necessarily that they're gonna kill themselves, but just that circumstances are such that he's not gonna make it out of here with us, you know, but. So yeah, but then there was another person in my family who absolutely planned everything.
Right.
Meal schedule.
I feel like that's different.
That one, she.
I feel like she decided it.
She decided literally to the last penny, the last day, the last moment, everything. Like, no joke. She fucking put a note on the door for the cops. Sorry for the. I'm like. come right in, like crazy stuff. Paid off the funeral stuff so we didn't have to. Like that one,
Right. That's what. Yeah.
you know, that one was crazy. But yeah, somebody messaged me and they're like, "What do you think about assisted suicide?" And I said, "Well, obviously, I'm against it." And he was like, "Oh, somebody with pain and suffering, they're incalculable pain and suffering." I'm like, yeah, and it's not gonna stay there. Because who gets to measure what pain and suffering? What if somebody's suffering with a mental malady? What if somebody's suffering with severe depression? That's pain and suffering. Should we let them kill themselves? And they were like, "Well, I knew you'd say that because you don't believe in people having rights and all this." And I'm like, "No, you don't have the right to kill yourself."
Well, you don't know what tomorrow or what next year holds either. Like Kurt Cobain, when we were watching that documentary, he was in like a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And his stomach, like he had so much stomach pain
Right.
that it was like putting him on the verge, man.
Right. Right.
But then he ended up getting it situated, and then life
good.
was good for him. Yeah. So you don't know, like my mom had chronic pain for. Like, it was so bad, like, for years. It was like, it was, she couldn't even get out of bed sometimes. It was so bad.
Yeah, I would absolutely have imposed my belief system on Kurt Cobain if I was there and wanted to kill himself. I wouldn't say, "Well, I respect your..." Fuck that.
No, I know. But what I'm trying to say is that just because you're in a time of pain doesn't mean pain's going to last forever.
Oh, right.
And so if you open the doors to that, then people are going to be, killing themselves a lot more frequently, because I think that like suicide, it seems so extreme to a lot of people, like what you have to do to exit the world. But if it was a little bit more simple, like, this lady.
Well, this lady, in the Guardian article, a woman's final Facebook post: "Before euthanasia, I'm ready for my trip." Ariella Browers laid down on her bed to die, clutching a toy pink dinosaur and listening to her favorite music. The 29-year-old drank her prescribed medication as close friends gathered around. She asked me to lie next to her. She had a smile on her face, and she went softly into sleep. 2002 Termination of Life on Request and Assisted Suicide Act permits the ending of lives where there is unbearable suffering without hope of relief. These people, they're so progressive. These people. Her death has triggered a fierce debate in a country that has one of the most permissive euthanasia laws in the world. For not only was Browers young, she did not have a terminal disease such as cancer. She suffered from psychiatric illnesses, including severe anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and psychosis. Well, you open the door for that. It's like...
Yeah, wow.
People play around with stuff that and this, I was having this conversation. This particular individual doesn't have any children. So you just imagine the horror if your 16-year-old said, "Well, yeah, I'm having a hard time, and I'm going to this whatever," and then some fucking doctor's there and you can't do anything to stop it. Or an 18-year-old. 18-year-old.
It doesn't matter how old your kid is.
I mean, shit, if these people are around when I was 18, I would be here. These people playing around with stuff that is no joke. Of course, when a person is like really, really, really at the edge, like, yeah, they don't want to hear anything that you have to say. Because some people get to a point that's beyond reason. And they don't want to hear what you have to say. And you got to get physical. I've taken weapons out of people's hands. Yeah, of course.
Wow.
I impose my belief system on, no, I'm not going to let you do blah, 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 blah. Like... I just, like, some of the stuff that people play around with, it's like, I'm like, how much of the real world have you actually seen?
Yeah.
But, he's articulating what's going on in the mind of a person that's really, like, there is a line that they cross where they go, "Okay, I've done it," and there's nothing you can say to them, and that's when you start, that's when you start blue papering people.
That's exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
That's why we have things like blue paper, because you get to a point mentally where you are a danger to yourself. And then your mind starts working against you, because your initial instinct is to survive, and your mind generally starts working in ways that you can survive. But when you cross that line, your mind actually starts working backwards into how to kill yourself. And so when you are evaluated and you've crossed that line, the doctors go, okay, well, sorry. And now we're going to impose our, until your mind reverses and gets back to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
You know, and with some people in my life, we've been able to, you know, it was good. And other people in my life, we were not able to do that. So, you know, it's a crazy line. Like, you got to. I respect the where the person is. I'm not saying I don't respect them or I don't respect their decisions. I respect that that's what's going on with them.
And that's why you want to take care of them.
Right. But this whole, you know, all of this, you know, sophistry. People feel like they're so progressive and you know. I mean, these things have horrible eventualities. You know. Terrible eventualities. Now, you know, you got this girl saying goodbye on Facebook. She's clutching a pink dinosaur. It's like, yeah, this is
bothered me a lot.
Yeah, like this. You're 29 years old.
Yeah.
You know, but life is. But that's why songs like this are important. If you look at it in the context of the previous song, you know, if you look at both of them in a context, you're understanding that this is what's happening with this guy. This is not a promotion of suicide. And I always say, anytime I listen to songs like this, I'm always like, this song must have saved so many lives because it gave the outlet. And, you know, I firmly believe that there were lots of attentive parents. They're like, what are you listening to? And we're able to read some of these lyrics. So she used to put all the lyrics in the jacket of the thing. And I think that there are a lot of good discussions that came out of the song. I also think, could I imagine some guy in a Chevy on some off-road doing something to himself to this song? Yeah, I hear that too. But I think songs like this do way more good than bad. And the people that we're going to do bad, we're going to do it regardless of whether or not the song is there. Because the thing is, when a person is really crossed that line, there's nothing in the natural world that's going to stop them. But I think the majority of people who have suicidal ideation are in the middle, and there's a lot of things in the natural world that will stop them. So you get stuff like this, or Fade to Black, or Nirvana, or whatever. Like it can like, okay, like somebody knows how I feel, and I can keep going. And there's a lot of things for the people in that middle group. The people in the other group, they're gonna do it regardless. And okay, if they use that as a particular vehicle to get to leave the world, then sure, but. You know, so I always think that these things are positive songs, even though the subject matter is pretty heavy. You know, you look like you're thinking about something.
I'm just thinking about different people. Nothing I'm gonna share here.
Yeah, but you know, to take somebody in this state of mind, verse 2 and verse 3, and then say yes, they should be able to make that decision for themselves. It's just, it's insane to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
He wouldn't say that. He's still here. So he wouldn't say yes. You know, you know, they're still here. So, but and I think it's really, people can say what they want about Phil, but I think it's really crazy. He must have been in a very dark period of his life. But for him to even try this, to say, don't do it like me, don't be like me, that takes a ton of awareness, a ton of strength, and a ton of love for the people that listen to his music, and awareness that, man, he's got to be in his 20s, maybe at this point, and to be like, I'm gonna leave them something from this song to not do this. I think that's crazy to me. Like, kudos, big up to the big homie Phil for that, because that's probably, this line right here, "Don't you try to die like me," is probably one of the most loving moments in metal I've seen in music from an artist to his fans. Yeah. Like, this is probably the most loving thing I've ever seen an artist actually do.
It's leave it in its lies and mixed graves.
Yeah, considering everything that he must have been going through at the time.
Yeah, and then to have that awareness to say, okay, what if somebody hears this and then they try to, okay, I gotta word this differently to, You
know, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these people, you know, the contributions that they make is they're doing God's work. I say it all the time, doing God's work. You know what's interesting is it's live it lies, it makes graves descending down. It's got graves plural. You know, it's the in Isaiah 53 it says, and they made his grave with the wicked and with a rich man in his death. The word death there is plural. So he made his grave with the wicked and with a rich man in his deaths. Plural.
Yeah.
And
Why?
well, there's a couple reasons. One is our Jewish friends saying, see, that's talking about the righteous in Israel because it's plural deaths. And of course, we say, no, you know why, because he says he's dying for the sins of the people. So all the deaths that they needed to die, he died. All those deaths were compounded in one person. And so it's Jesus dying with the suicide person, dying in the Holocaust, dying in the Middle Passage, and he's dying for all these people and taking part in the deaths that all of us have died. So when I saw graves there, I'm like, whoa, that's deep. Like Jesus was there. So, and of course, we've got a very, very convenient template as a Christian. There's so many different things that you could make applications to, but yeah. So this is for me is the last thing, and then it goes back to course 2. Yeah, man, what a song! All right, and I just have to say that riff, that.
Incredible.
Just he and I always know that Dime is going to come with something insane, but sometimes it just like completely surprises you because I didn't know where he was going to go, but then as soon as the thing hit, it's like, oh, okay.
It's funny because part 1 you were like, where's the heaviness?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, here it is.
Yeah. And then the solo was kind of chaotic, Kerry King-ish a little bit.
It
but it's designed to talk about like, hey, this guy's unraveling. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable song. What do you give the song?
I'm having a hard time. I don't know if I want to rate these. I think that they're both really good. I think I prefer. I don't know which one I preferred. I liked 1. I liked 2, but they're so different that I don't know. I mean, I think it's a 10 for what he was trying to accomplish, but I just feel weird. Gave a 10 to suicide and stuff. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think we gave it a fair listen, and I think that instrumentally in both songs they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, and I think that I don't think I've ever heard an artist step out of the narrative and talk to the fans.
Yeah.
So for that alone, it gets a 10 for me.
Okay.
I mean, man, unbelievable.
Okay. Well,
good song.
10's all around.
10. Much respect to Phil Anselmo. Rest in peace to Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul. Inshallah, you're in the Ain't Self, and we'll see you soon, guys. Hey, if you're suicidal, we love you. Don't do it today, though. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.